How's everybody doing? Here are Glenn and Joe coming up with our regional Southeast region predictions. Glenn, let's jump right into it. So far postseason right now has been, we're here, we're in it. Still some people unhappy with how it happens and what went down, but the reality is that we should be happy we had something. Uh, what are your immediate thoughts after the first weekend of the postseason?
Well, my immediate thoughts are that I was left out of the gym like many people, the fans, the parents, and even coaches of these kids, and for some of the seniors, that's really difficult to get through. So I'm kind of really feeling for the fans out there, mostly the parents, and certainly the coaches. Being a coach myself and a parent of a wrestler, not at the high school level, but anytime you can't see your child perform or compete, it's difficult. So it's been a different atmosphere, Joe. I was able to watch at Quakertown the four, match at one time. It was very unique. Quakertown did a great job. If you saw that schedule they had laid out, it was amazing for the safety of the kids. So I feel good about it in terms of the way we're going to run things again at the regionals, two separate gymnasiums. Actually, they're going to separate the gymnasiums up at the two different sites at North and South here at Council Rock. So I am going to get in the gym at Council Rock South. I'm excited about that. But yeah, it's been unique and different. But I really feel for everybody out there that has really missed wrestling. I mean, I only got mat side once this year. So it's really different. I know and Mike and you, and we just feel like we kind of, haven't had our opportunity or chance to kind of really showcase the kids. So hopefully tonight we can do a little bit of that, talking about our picks.
Yeah, I had the ability and to get down to the South tournament, and Sun Valley did a nice job hosting it. Again, it was a little different without the fans, and they did a nice job of keeping the kids who weren't wrestling out of the gym, giving them a place to warm up. And so, for that, thank you to Sun Valley, thank you to Quakertown for stepping up. Thank you to Council Rock School District. Normally we're thanking one of the schools. I mean, this is a district effort to make this tournament happen for us this weekend. So that's great. And again, we'll be thanking Quakertown again next week, but we'll do it now for hosting the Super Regional. And I watched from afar streaming as to what was going on at Quakertown, and it looks like they did a good job from everyone I talked to and from what I saw. So,
I got a question for you, Joe.
all right, hit me with it.
So we're going to this sub regional next week. We're going right back to Quakertown, and there's a lot of talk about the guys that advance from the super regional going to states, and they're all going to medal. I've had some conversations with some other folks, some wrestling fans this week. Like, this is like kind of old school. The old eight guys go up. They're all state. They're all going to medal. What are your thoughts about this 8-man bracket at states, and what does it mean for these kids to make it to the super region? Are they state qualifiers? What are your thoughts there? I know there's a lot of talk out there about that. So what are your thoughts?
Right away, without a doubt, you make it to the Super Regional, your state qualifier. Not just because of the year we're having, but if you think about it in terms of they already made it out of their region. On a normal year, you make it out of regions, you are a state qualifier. In a 20-man bracket, you'd be going. The only thing that's changed is it's added a week. And when you get to that state tournament, you're walking home with something, but you've earned it. Like you did the work to get there to Hershey. So without a doubt, I feel that we should be honoring everyone that medals at regionals top 4 as a state qualifier. I'm not in it for the moral victories, but this is one of those things where I think you have to. I mean, in a normal year, like last year, all the top 4 in the region, they went to states. The top 4 in the regions are going to states this year. It's just they're just weeding out the number of people that are making it.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I feel that this super region is going to be super. You talk about the districts that are coming together here in the East, and I was joking about, that line, you draw that line down the Susquehanna River, and, the District 11, say no more. So, this is going to be a lot of fun, even though it's different. But for me, when I look at that, like I always love the District 1 against District 11, and this is kind of really a showcase for our kids. And you look around at the state rankings and all that stuff, and you look at the West, and you're like, oh boy, it's going to be difficult for us to get a lot of medals. But you know what? I look at some of our top guns, and we're going to talk about them tonight. I feel that they're really going to be showcased right here in their own backyard of Quakertown. I mean, the SOL guys and some of these other guys, like Lido from the Central League, he's going right back to a gym he just wrestled in. I mean, there's some advantages for District 1 here, wrestling back in that gym in that same setup. So I can't wait for that. I don't know how that's going to play out. But I agree with you. I mean, this is just an off-site state tournament first round. So that's how we got to look at it. And I think the kids going to regionals this year, I don't think they have not changed their preparation. They have not changed their mindset. I know the coaches have not changed theirs. I mean, I can't even imagine not being able to go practice with other guys and roll around and bang with the best of the best in districts during, for regional prep. Because, regional prep, the teams are all getting together, and, that just isn't going on. And that is something, maybe we're going to see something from some teams and some kids that we haven't seen in the past in the postseason. And I'm looking for some surprises. And I think, we already talked off camera a little bit. There are going to be some surprises and in this region.
Yeah, and to your point, with so few kids having few matches, some guys are just hitting that stride of getting in shape. I wouldn't say at length, but I did mention it quite often about the Abington guys and more, and
Yeah.
the Oxford guys. Like, what were we going to see out of them? Like, you just didn't know what you'd see from them because of the limited competition opportunities they had. And for the Oxford guys and the Abington guys that made it through, like, kudos to them for
Oh
staying
yeah.
ready and being ready when their number was called.
Yeah, I mean, Cannon Hershey, I mean, he's in a tough weight class. I mean, he really shined. And those Abington kids, I mean, three Abington kids get out with one match under their belts. I mean, it's amazing. So, yeah, it's and I was looking at some of the records. I was looking at the PA Power rankings, and I saw the disparity of matches. Some of these teams in the West had, like, the one kid was like 22-0. And you look at some of our records. I mean, 9-1 for Gavin Sheridan from Boyertown, and Boyertown typically would come in with 44, 45 matches at this point. So you're right. I mean, this is like, in a way, it's kind of like mid-season postseason, but it seems like to me we had a really short season. I mean, it's been the postseason since day one.
Yeah.
No one's even talking about who won the league tournament and who won the league champion. I mean, it's really been all about the postseason. So I really think, we're going to have some fun tonight and, talk about these matchups. And, again, I think we know most of these kids. It's just a shame we haven't seen them as much as we'd like to, Joe, this year.
Yeah.
So we're going
So
to apologize. Let's apologize now, Joe, before we hurt anybody's feelings. All right.
yeah. Also, as always, do my best with the name with enunciating names. I always receive a few messages over that. I'm going to apologize to the Council Rock South brothers. I'm gonna try butcher them as well. But Glenn, I'm gonna pose a question to you that's been a hot topic on the forum, and something for you to think about, and then give me your answer. What are your thoughts on the legs that the District 1 All Stars versus Malvern is gaining right now?
Yeah. Well, there's always talk about these prep schools, and it's been going on for a long time. I had a bad experience with Malvern Prep coming to the Wetzel for many years, and all of a sudden, nobody wanted them there. So I'll say no more about that. But that's a tremendous, proposal for an event, and I hope that the District 1 kids really step up and we get our best squad represented there, and I think we will. I think that with the short season. Some of the kids being eliminated this week at regionals. I think it's a great idea. I love it because I don't know what national preps look like really right now. I haven't paid hardly any attention to that. I know that the GA guys' schedules were pretty light. I don't know about some of the other prep schools. I'm sure Malvern maxed they the best they could. So it's going to be a pretty good event if it's real and they pull this thing off. I hope we're match side, Joe.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Definitely would like to, help with that any way possible. So for anyone who watches it and that is helping with this, please don't hesitate to reach out. If we can be of help, definitely would do what we can, because that's a just if anything else, it's more matches for our guys, and it's a showcase for Malvern, it's a showcase for wrestling, showcase for District One. So
Yeah,
I
and
think that's
we missed Escape the Rock this year, Joe.
yeah,
And that really was the premier event for us here in District One. With that type of tournament, we got to see the prep. We got to see wrestlers from all over. Ranked nationally. We just haven't had that flavor this year with the season, and that for us, I mean, we kind of really booked our lives around that tournament for the last couple of years. I mean, we always had, oh, like, we're not going to make it. We're going to get there. And we've always made it happen.
yeah.
And it's just we haven't had it, So this is exciting. I mean, I'm so excited to be in the gym, and I thank Scott Lair and Scott Sillen-Perry for making it happen over there at Council Rock, for getting the media guys in there, because I'm going to go in there as PAWrestling.com, and certainly as Suburban One Sports.com as well. But more importantly, I couldn't even pull out my District 1 committee credentials to get in there. I mean, I might be running the tournament in there. Who knows?
So, all right, folks. So we're gonna stop John here a little bit, and we're gonna get to what we're all tuned in for, and that's our regional rankings. Glenn. I'm glad you're here with me this week. I was solo last week for the district tournament, so bringing in some help and maybe the voice of reason. Uh, at times, he and I, Glenn and I, have gone back and forth via text all week, and it more or less, I'm going to present my brackets, and Glenn's going to tell me where I went wrong. So that's kind of how it's going to go back and forth. And we've both been accused of different things throughout the years, and I think tonight. We might turn some heads after just we bumped heads just at 106. So I think it's gonna be I don't know what to expect.
Well, you know what? We might lose our Homerism titles here, so
That's
good.
that's fine by me. So give me a second here while I present. Thank God for Google.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, this 106-pound weight class, Joe, is phenomenal. We haven't seen, freshmen and upperclassmen like this at 106 pounds in District 1 in a while.
Yeah.
So this is really, really a nice weight class to start. Obviously, 106 being the first weight class, and wrestling in a tournament, you're going to start at 106, and this is a really showcase weight class.
Yeah. So Glenn, you can see my screen, correct?
I do. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to scroll up here, and just looking at like piggyback on what Glenn said, we have just a lot of talent. A lot of guys went to 6 from 113, and I'm going to talk about my picks here, and I'll go into the consolation bracket, just kind of like I did with the district brackets, and Glenn's going to tell us his opinions. Where I went wrong, where he agrees, and we're gonna have a little back and forth. So I think the guy to beat this weight class is Kevin Kinney from Council Rock South, until I see otherwise. I just think he is he brings it all. He's tough on his feet. He's real tough on top, and no one's having success really holding him down. So the most important thing, though, and Glenn's going to agree with me on this, is when you get to the postings, you got to be able to turn guys. You gotta have something in your bag of tricks that got to be able to turn a guy, and he's got it. He's got it. Um, I think he'll see Burke again in the semis, and that's a match you can. At this point, I'm leaning towards Kinney, but it could go the other way, like it has in the past. We look down at the bottom half of this championship bracket. Cole Coffin beating Gavin Sheridan in a matchup of two highly touted freshmen. I think Coffin just gonna have a little bit too much for him. Sheridan, took his first loss this season to Cole McFarland. I'm going to talk about him in a second, and then probably the surprise of bracket being Jake Williams making it in, scoring a big win over Teague McCormick in the Wrestlebacks last week. Really glad to see that as a junior. He's a guy that's been kind of a little bit up and down. Had a good freshman season. I think he missed some time from an injury, and I'm glad to see him at the regional tournament.
Yeah,
But
kudos to Jake Williams from PW there. I mean, coming out of this weight class in District 1 North, I mean, he did a really nice job to advance.
And the strength, kind of, in my opinion, is in the North. We, the four semifinalists, we got three from the North. Cole Smith, though, looked really tough on Saturday, and it's gonna be interesting to see him and Cole Coffin. I'm gonna go against a guy from the pack right right from the jump here, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
say Cole Coffin gets a rematch with Kinney, but again, Kinney being a little bit too much for him. Going with the senior over the freshman here. And then as we look to go
Oh, wait
into
a
this,
minute. You can't, Joe. We got to stop here right now because this is where we have our first disagreement.
that's right, I forgot
So,
my phone.
Cole Coffin has had a great season. He did lose to Teague McCormick. I think he's a freshman, and I just think Cole Smith with that spring forward, rugged schedule in the pack. Um, just kind of winning that district last week. I think Cole Smith advances here over Cole Coffin, and I don't think it's a blowout at all. I think this is a really, really good wrestled match. But I do have Smith getting to the finals, and I agree with you on the rest of the top half of the bracket. But look out for Cole Smith. He's had a good year, if you will, with 11 matches. So that's a big. This is a big. This changes my bottom bracket obviously a little bit, but I do have Kinney getting through. Not easily. I mean, that Burke match, like you said, that could go either way. But Kinney's on a mission. Senior, got the states last year. I think he wants to get on the medal stand.
Agreed. So if we look down here, everything's going to be the same for Glenn and I, with the exception of that cross bracket in the semis, where I have Smith there and he has Coffin. So if we look here, we got Kearney, McFarland, Sheridan, Williams. I think McFarland and Sheridan will win easily to those freshmen, to those future wrestlers in District 1 that I think have very high ceilings. I have McFarland losing to Smith again in a rematch of that District South final where Smith kind of had his way with him and pinned him. And then Burke beating Sheridan, with Smith beating Burke and taking third, and then McFarland McFarland had I wouldn't say a close match with Sheridan last week. There was a scramble early on. It's one of the videos I've taped last week. There was a little scramble early on. Sheridan was in on a leg, and then McFarland got on top and slapped the cradle on, and it was it was lights out after that point. So definitely impressed with McFarland, but this is not the year he's going to be a state qualifier for Haverford, in my opinion. He's definitely got a bright future, but it's just not quite there yet. In this tough weight class, if all these guys didn't come from 13 down to 6, I'd be singing a different tune. I think him and Sheridan would be going. But when you throw Cavan or with Kinney and Burke in, I think the weight class becomes too deep.
Yeah, and I got to say, obviously I have McFarland there as well, but I have him going against Coffin, and I have Coffin winning that match, and I have Coffin beating Burke, then taking third place. So not much of a difference. I mean, Smith and Coffin there. So that could go either way, Joe. So I'm glad we're in agreement to disagree, like we always are. And I do have to say something about Burke. Tony Burke has just improved each year. I mean, he has just gotten better and better and better. He's only a junior. He's down there low. I'm really, excited about him next year. Believe it or not. I mean, I'm already looking ahead. I mean, he's in a tough weight class here. I think he's going to get the states. He might even get on the stand. I don't know. But I just got to say that this kid has just gotten better every year. And I'd love to see that in lightweights. I mean, those guys sometimes have to jump up a little high out of the gate. They go from that 106-pound weight class, and next thing you know, at 113, then they're up at 120 and 26 their senior year. I think Burke's in a good spot next year to be wherever he needs to be, wherever he wants to be. So I just got to mention that he's had a great year.
Yeah, I agree. I think Burke got much better down the stretch, and that's what enabled him to punch that ticket to the States last year. So it was just a matter of him being in the lineup full time and just working every day in that room. That room last year at Rock North was incredibly tough, so there was no easy outs as far as his practice partners went. So, all right, you ready to close the book and go into 113?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so 113, we got Mason Ziegler, another phenomenal freshman, future star in District 1 in the making. He is the 1 seed. And again, all the North guys are the 1 seed, so it doesn't really matter. He was the champ from the North.
Oh, are you sure it doesn't matter? I thought they had that correct.
No, they didn't. It was just it was plug and play. So it doesn't. So the way it went. So I'm just going to make that a little bit smaller so we can fit the whole thing on the screen. So I got Ziegler making his way to the finals. Wutcher is a guy from Kennett that I got to see for the first time, and that's one of the things the South enabled me to do is to see guys that you only get to see in box scores. And so Wutcher was really impressed with what he's able to do. He can go. He's physical, and again, another very talented freshman. I haven't seen Luke Ryder wrestle in person yet, but Garmin Cortez from Henderson, again, he's a guy that's been here before. He's pretty tough. He wrestled well, takes second in the South. I think he gets to the semis. Coons from Penridge, again, only seen him wrestle on a computer screen, but he has impressed me. I think he beats Heimbach from Boyertown. And in Milkowich's return regional qualifier, he's been here before, but he's going to run into conference pro Dominic Ortlip, returning state qualifier from Springford. I think Ortlip wins. So we get the Ziegler, Cortez, Coons, Ortlip matchup. And I think Ziegler and Ortlip get through to the finals, with Ziegler ultimately beating Ortlip. And what some will call an upset. I think Ziegler is a super talented freshman, and he was ready to make a statement. I think this will be his coming out party, and put himself in the best position possible moving forward to next week.
Yeah, this weight class is full of freshmen, and Joe, I have it the same way up top here in the championship bracket. Ziegler is on fire, 22 straight wins. If you watch him wrestle, he has not been in bad shape. He's not been in a bad position. He's been in control the whole way. 22 straight matches. He's going to be tough to beat. And Ortlib, I agree with you. He's a tough out on any given day, but Ziegler's on fire. Coons is another freshman. I mean, this kid has gone under the radar all year long, just like, Coffin, not so much. I think Coffin was kind of expected to do some damage.
Yep, everyone kind of knew who he was.
But Coons has just kind of snuck his way right in here. But yeah, this is a very talented weight class. But I have it the same way, and all these kids have wrestled well. This is a nice group here of this 4 here in the semis. This is a great semifinal in this bracket.
So let's sit down on where these guys are going to have to work to punch that ticket. We look here, we got Wutcher and Ryder. I think Ryder wins just based on matches wrestled and what I know about him beyond what I knew about Wutcher. Heimbach and Milkowicz, I'm going with Heimbach over him. Coons and Ryder, I'm going Coons. I believe that's a rematch from earlier in the year. And then I'm going Cortez over Heimbach again, and Cortez over Coons. So Cortez takes third, and then Heimbach beating Ryder to take fifth. That's the way I'm feeling it go today. This one I went back and forth with a lot of them.
Yeah, this was tough down low, and I did have Coons and Ryder as well up top, and then I actually have Milkovich taking out Heimbach, and I have Milkovic beating Cortez as well. So this is kind of my little upset consolation bracket. I don't know why. I have a feeling that Milkovic is kind of the old Upper Perk, mentality. I like the way he wrestles. And for some of you Pac fans, you kind of know what I'm talking about. I think he's kind of old school upper perk. And I really like him in this spot, but I have Coons beating him. So little difference here down below. And, Joe, sometimes down below, I mean, we should talk about this right now. Some bad things happen to wrestlers that lose a semifinal bout. And they can drop down and kind of lose focus. And I've seen it as a coach. We've certainly seen it as fans and as broadcasters and just, wrestling, you know, aficionados. And I just have a feeling that Cortez might have a little bit of a letdown, and Mikovic kind of might be cruising a little bit with a win over Heimbach. That's kind of my hunch.
You call him the semi slide? Is that what you're calling?
Oh yeah, is that what that's called?
Yes.
Yeah, there it is, buddy. I gotta write that one down. Is that the same thing as Dancing Bears?
Yeah, but that's gonna believe me that of the 8 guys we have at regions, I don't there's a dancing bear in that bracket. We haven't gotten there yet, so we'll talk about that. But the semi slide, yeah, when you lose that semifinals, like
Yeah, there it
that's
is.
why it's in a small tournament like this, and we're gonna talk about it because there's gonna be other situations. Losing that match to turn around, but to when you have to wrestle again is going to be pretty quick because it's only half the amount of wrestlers. There's not a full, you know, um, 13 weight classes. Your one side has 6, one side has 7.
Yeah.
So the
Tournament's gonna move
turnaround
quick. The tournament
terms exactly like it's going to be like right butted up with those 45-minute in betweens
yeah, I mean we're out
matches.
of the gym by 2:30. I mean,
So if you lose a tough match in the semis that you thought you were going to win, you need to your coaches really got to get in and start playing psychologists and getting their mind right, getting them focused because they're right back at it and the back's against the wall, and like you have to be ready to go to win that match just to go to super regional.
yeah.
So it's a definite difficult thing.
Yeah, and
Because
everyone's got to keep focus, and that's we don't really talk about that much, because we don't. Sometimes when we're doing a match, we're able to talk about the focus, but this is a time of year where you got to stay focused, Joe. You got to stay focused on the prize in one match at a time, one period at a time, and that's we talk about that all the time. Like you cannot lose focus in a tournament like this. This is a tournament of studs. Every match. This is a regional tournament. I mean, you got to remember you're in the quarterfinals out of the gate. We haven't wrestled any prelims. The prelim is a quarterfinal bout. So I agree with you. So maybe we'll see it, maybe we won't. And let's move on, man. Let's get to 120. Let's
so
get to this weight class. I love this weight class.
this weight class is going to be uh, you know, I don't know what to say. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going my first big upset of the day happens right here with Matt Reekie from Garnet Valley beating McGann from Quakertown. Undefeated Todd McGann. I got nothing against McGann. I just love the way Reekie wrestles. He's just in your face. He wrestles hard. And I said it before, and at the risk of saying it again, I feel this time of year, Garnet Valley coaches get the most out of their kids, and this is going to be one of those. I think this is one of those situations where Ricky's gonna surprise people. He's gonna get the win there. Keanu Manuel, I had him picked to beat Maldonado last week, and Maldonado, I don't want to say handled him, but won decisively in that match. Cannon Hershey, I wasn't sure what he had. I don't. I believe I had him getting out. I don't remember. Maybe not because that 120 bracket was so tough. I know. Actually, I think I might have had King getting out, not him. But he beat King in that Conci semifinal to punch his ticket, and Jimmy King, returning state qualifier, not here, not even here at the regional tournament. And then Maldonado winning, Maldonado beating Hershey, and then a rematch of last week at the South tournament. I got Maldonado winning again. Yes, Glenn, before you say anything, it's an all South semifinals.
Yeah, and well, you know what? I totally disagree with you. Todd McGann has had a season just like some of these other Quakertown lightweights. I mean, this is like Murders Row that Council Rock North had last year, and I just think that I agree with you with Ricci. I mean, and that Garnet Valley, peaking at the right time. I think they're there, but these Quakertown kids have had 22 matches that have gotten to be District 1 North champs. I just think that you're going to see a kind of more seasons just this year. McCann get by Ricci, so that's the only difference. I totally agree with Manuel and Cannon Hershey. This kid, I mean, he's scary. he wants to rip your head off, and he goes. I have him right there, and of course Maldonado, and then I have Maldonado beating Manuel. So I think the only that is a big call with Ricci. Coming out of the fourth slot, out of the South against the number one North, I'm going to totally disagree. But let's go down low and see what we got, because I think it's going to
All
be
right, cool.
totally flip flop.
Yes, so I got McGann and Cliver. McGann beating Cliver, and then at Whittington versus Wittenberg. I'm going Whittington for the win. Then with the cross bracket semifinal losers, Hershey and Riki winning, and then Riki returning the favor to Hershey from last week and winning that third place match after losing last week for third place, and then McGann beating Whittington for fifth. So not only do I not have McCann winning that first match, I have him losing to Hershey in that Conci semi.
Yeah, so complete, flip flop of the bracket for me. I have Hershey and Riki wrestling up top there, and I have Hershey, getting by Riki again, and then down below, obviously, I have McGann taking out Whittington, and McGann taking third place. So that again, these consolation bouts, Joe. We just talked about it. When you come down in here, you got to be ready to go. I mean, you got these guys. Some of these guys all the way out. It's almost like a pigtail out there. Like this is a true pigtail. After you lose that first one, you got to really wrestle your way back into the tournament. So guys are dangerous. And if you have McGann down there wrestling, coming back in, he's going to be really explosive. So either way, I would have McGann getting out. So a little bit of difference here, and I think the South here definitely has the strength, but I think McGann's going to get one of those four spots.
And that's why we do what we do, so we have a difference of opinion. But I totally agree. When you get in that consolation bracket, better tie your shoes a little bit tighter, be ready to go. So let's turn the page. Let's go to 126 pounds. And again, you talked about Murderers Row. Here we are again. They're Quaker Town guy, another guy, 22-0. But as you can see, I got Borzio beating Billy Wilson. I got Aiden Cheng, who's quietly had a great senior season for Upper Marion, and a team that doesn't get a whole lot of publicity, not known as a wrestling powerhouse, and he's having a quiet senior season that's got him in the in the regional tournament. And I think he beats Nate Shippey. Nate Shippey didn't look very sharp last week for Interborough. En route to taking second. He had a really, pretty close match with Shane Holfelder from Sun Valley in the semis, and it was a tight match. He bless you, slapped the cradle on the edge of the mat and turned Holfelder and kind of turned the tides of the match. I got Holfelder, who he's as dangerous as they come, Glenn. He's one of those guys that you want on your team when you need a match. I think he can pin you from anywhere. He hits big moves. He's right now I would say his biggest problem is inconsistency. He's not consistent to the point where he doesn't make mistakes that end up costing him. I would say the matches he beat Billy Wilson for third place, but Billy Wilson pinned him earlier in the year when Holfelder was up like 5-0. So if he can just stay out of those situations that puts himself in trouble, I think he's really dangerous, especially in a tournament like this. And then I think Findora beats Carpenter, Findora beats Holfelder, and then I think Findora does beat Borzio in the final here. So Glenn, what do you got?
Yeah, I do have the finalist the same way as you, Joe, with Findora winning over Borzio, but I'm gonna have to stop you on Nate Shippey. He may have not looked sharp last week, but I think he comes back this week a little fired up. I've seen those Interborough kids rebound, even in the district duels. Last year, I'm just really impressed with those Interborough kids. I think he rebounds this weekend. He gets by Chang, and he advances. So I have him there in the semis, and then down below I have Matt McCauley. This is a kid that just doesn't have enough matches right now, and I don't think Holfelder can hang with McCauley at all. So that's a big difference there for you and I. So that I'll just say that, and if we drop down, you'll kind of see where I go with that, with those two guys, with Shippey and McCauley.
I got Shippey beating Wilson, and then in a rematch, I got Holfelder beating Shippey, McCaughey beating Carpenter, and then losing to Chang, as was the case last week at Districts, and then Chang beating Holfelder for third place, and then Shippey beating McCaughey for fifth place.
So you know where I'm going with this. So
100%, I do.
I obviously have McCauley and Wilson up there because I have Wilson and Chang going at it. So we have a big difference there. I do have McCauley getting by Wilson and getting into that consolation final. And down below, I have Holfelder against Shippey, and I have Shippey taking him out. And then I have McCauley taking out Shippey. So, we have our fifth and third place bouts flip flopped here. And like we said before, these consolations, this is probably the hardest brackets to pick, Joe. So and again, I'm McCauley is a wild card actually in this weight class. I mean, he could lose his first one and come back through all the way down below like you have him. So he's dangerous in the weight class. But I do think he gets by Holfelder from Sun Valley. That's just how I feel there, and I really think this kid McCauley's got a lot of upside with only having a couple matches under his belt. So we'll see. I mean, the tournament grind, for the kids that have wrestled 22 bouts like a Borzio, this is kind of like they're ready to go. McCauley needs to kind of dig deep, find out what he's made of, and really suck it up because it's going to be a long tournament for him. Even if he does win that first one, he's probably coming down after losing to Fedora. So he's going to have to strap it on tight right away and make the best of it. So I really think the consolations in this weight class are really – this is a difficult one to pick. I mean, I kind of went first gut feeling. You probably did the same thing too. I mean, we have to do that when you're doing these brackets. I did a lot of research. I was, doing the comparison, the wrestler comparison. Mike, that was the greatest thing ever invented. Mike's monitoring this thing. He's not watching right now, but he's going to edit it out the way he wants. But that wrestling comparison thing really kind of shows a lot of stuff. So I'm just going to stick to that.
Well, and I'll say too, in years past, the wrestler comparison was a better tool than this year for all these tough freshmen we have.
True.
That they don't have no common opponents because they didn't get outside their league. So it made it a little bit more difficult. You're calling people, you're texting with coaches, trying to get some inside info to make an educated guess in a sense or pick as to who you should who's going to advance and where. But Glenn, if you're ready, I'm ready to turn the page and go to,
oh, yeah,
to
I already turned the
132.
page. When you see me turn the page, Joe, that's a good cue to move on.
I can't see you. I can only see my screen. So I have
you can always look at yourself. I know.
No, I don't even see myself. I just see the brackets. I don't see anything.
Really?
No, yeah,
Yeah,
it's because I'm sharing my
technology is
screen.
crazy. I can see myself. I can see you. I can see the brackets. I hope this all works out for everybody.
Yes, I do too. So here's a weight class I'm excited to see. 132 pounds, and Kelly Kakos was your champion in North. Nate Lucer was your champ in the South. I think that Kakos Hollingsworth wins in that other quarterfinal, and Galang beats Kelton Brunner. I'm going to talk a little about Brunner in a second. Seeing him wrestle, I was real impressed with what I saw out of him. And Lucer from Coatesville, returning state medalist. I think Kakos' undefeated season, the undefeated part comes to an end in the semifinals. Griffin Hollingsworth, love the way he's wrestling, the intensity he brings. I just think he's going to crowd Keikos a little bit too much, and he brings just like a level of toughness I'm not sure Keikos is ready for. And Keikos has won some big matches this year, but I just like the way Hollingsworth is going, and I'm not going to say any more than that. But then Lucer. This is one of those weight classes, Glenn, where there's a clear cut number one, and it's their weight class to lose, and this is one of them. Lucer's his weight class to lose, and he looked really tough as he has all season.
Yeah, this was an easy weight class, Joe. I have it exactly the same way up top. I mean, Keikos has had a great year. But Hollingsworth, I mean, we've been watching him since he was a freshman. I mean, the expectations for him have been very, very high. Unfortunately, he has Lucier in his bracket. So that's. But you know what? That's turned into a great rivalry. And Eddie Galang is on fire from North Penn. Eddie's had a great career at North Penn. I mean, Coach Sessline has banked on him since day one, and I think they've won like 4 straight titles. North Penn now in the SOL. And Eddie Galang's been a big part of that for the last 4. So I have it the same way, and we'll probably have a little difference down below. So let's take a peek.
So, well, one thing I'll say is about that quarterfinal. Probably the most exciting quarterfinal of this weight class will be that Galang Brunner match. Just watching Brunner. First of all, you look at him; he looks like a 152 pounder. I don't know how he makes 132. And the kid's yoked, and he just goes. And
Yeah,
he's another one. He's another guy that quietly has made regionals before. Was I think won 32 matches last year. He's 12-4 this year. If there's such thing as a good loss, he's got some of those on his record. So it's not like he's a flash in the pans thing, and he's part of that Strathaven team and program that Coach Giuliano has had done a great job turning around and bringing notoriety to the program.
yeah. I was just
So
going to say that, Joe. Strathaven. I mean, if we had a district dual tournament, that was deep this year, I think
16
Strathaven,
teams, they would have made it.
they would have been there. And these Strathaven kids have flown under the radar as well. And I agree with you with Runner there. I mean that's I do have him getting advancing down below. So
Let's take a look. So
yeah,
I got Patton and Cleveland. Cleveland, the senior, Central Bucks West, his last shot at it. I got him beating Patton. I got Brunner beating Wilson, and then I got Galang beating Cleveland again. And then that Brunner Keikos match, I think, would be a real good one because it's another guy that's going to be like for Keikos, it's going to be a guy that's going to be in his face for full 6 minutes. But I think Keikos, what I saw from Brunner, where he struggles a bit is with that wrestler's a little bit too slick, and I think Keikos is going to be a little too slick for him to uh, pulled out. Last week when watching Brunner and Karkoska wrestle, Karkoska ran up to like an 8-0 lead, and it was just being slick, and Brunner went optional start in the third period and cemented him to his back tripped him. It was again, kudos to him. He never gave up in a match. And to your point, how many times you said it already tonight, Glenn, those wrestlebacks, you just got to start throwing a kitchen sink at people and see what
oh
happens.
yeah, yeah. And,
So
and remember that first period is huge, Joe.
mhm.
I mean, we haven't really talked about that 1 minute period. So I think that's kind of key. There's those guys that can get takedowns, can take a big advantage. The first 2 wins normally. So I got to mention this. I mean, we do have it the bracket kind of very similar here. I do have Galang and Cleveland, and I do have Brunner and Keikos. I do have Cleveland breaking through here. I mean, this has been the most difficult spot for Cleveland over the years. He has failed at regionals before. I don't think he lets it happen this year, and he turns the tide on Galang here and gets through. I do have Keikos taking out Brunner, and we just talked about it. I mean, Keikos kind of is kind of having a good year, and I have Keikos beating Cleveland. So a little bit of difference there, not much. I really think that Galang Cleveland is kind of a big match for Cleveland. It kind of is going to define his career, and I hope he's listening because he needs to dig down. He's capable of getting to states, and this is his year. So I hope he can do it.
For a guy who's won as many matches as he has, it would be fitting for him to punch that ticket here. Um, but like I said, when I ran comparisons and I go off past performances, I'm going with the hot hand on this one. That's why
No,
I'm
I
going
agree.
Clay.
Eddie's hot.
Yep. So, all right, let's move on to 138. And here's another, and like a lot of, and I said, kind of touched on this last week when I did my predictions. There's some weight classes where we have one guy that's going to win it, and then everyone's fighting for those other 3 spots. Well, this weight class is a little different, Glenn. This weight class has 2 guys, and you have one in Kyle Hauserman, and then, and a step below, you have DeFalco, and then below that, kind of have a bunch of guys that could make it out in those final 2 spots. I really think that Falco and Hauserman are the 2 best guys in the weight class. And I think that with that said, they will finish 1-2 again. But how 3 and 4 finishes where we're gonna get into it. So just for sake of argument, I got Hauserman winning. I got Palmer Delaney, who's he's not his brother. and that's fine. That's all well and good because he doesn't have to be his brother. He's a different wrestler than his brother. He was taller than his brother, I think, probably as an eighth grader. He wrestles a different style, and he if you make a mistake, he makes you pay for it. And I saw it firsthand last week when Chance Babb, got a little sloppy, and he cradled him two different times, and it was for two 5-point moves, and it changed the tide of the match because he was just fundamentally sound. He did the right thing. He took advantage of situations that were in front of him. So I like Delaney to beat Grodzki. DeFalco beats Babb, and then Kokersberger beats Geiger. Glenn, do you care to?
Yeah, this this has been a struggle for me a little bit. I mean, we have some state qualifiers here in these semifinals. I mean, you have Kokersberger, DeFalco, and Hauserman. I believe when DeFalco, he was the number one guy for a while until Hauserman dropped here. Um, so Hauserman's clear cut favorite, and DeFalco obviously on paper is number two. I really struggled here with the Kokersbergers match because I have not seen him. I think he has advanced a little bit in terms of last year. So this is going to be a really, really good semifinal. I have Delaney obviously wrestling Hauserman in the semis. No disagreement there. So this is really a toss up bout for me. I've seen DeFalco open up on guys and totally destroy them. I've also seen him kind of be a little unsure of himself at times, even though he's been to states, 3 straight times. This is his year to go get a medal. This for him is his defining moment in the semifinal bout. And I'm going to ride with you on it, and I hope he's listening too, because I love those Quakertown guys, and really like Tom. So this is just going to be a good semifinal bout. This is one of those ones you want to be in the gym for. That's a good semifinal match.
Well, I'm gonna back it up a second for Anya Glenn. We got 4 state qualifiers in this weight
Oh,
class.
I forgot about Delaney. Sorry. Oh
No,
my
we
God.
got House.
All my
We got
sister
no.
guys are going to
We
kill
got
me.
Hauserman, DeFalco, Babb, and Kokersberger.
Oh, not Delaney, right?
Yes,
Bab. I forgot
Babb,
about
Babb.
Bab.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about
So,
Bab. Yeah.
but again, the match with him and Delaney could have been was a toss up. I personally had Babb beating him last week, but I told you like Delaney, he's just a very crafty, resourceful wrestler, and took what was given to him, and you know made it took it what was there and to his advantage. And hats off to him for doing that. So it puts Babb in a situation where he's wrestling DeFalco in the quarterfinals. That's probably going to be one of your better matches this quarterfinal. That Grodzki Delaney match I think is going to be pretty good because Grodzki
Oh,
can
yeah.
go.
Oh, Grotzky's sneaky.
Yeah. So
Sneaky strong.
um, we can talk about Babb, but I think we're gonna both talk. We'll end up speaking about him as we go down to the Russellbacks. So got Rainey and Grodzki. I think Grodzki wins. Kokersberger on the semi cross bracket beats him. Babb and Geiger. Babb beats Geiger. Babb and Delaney in the rematch. Oh, I have to think if this rematch happens that Coach Haley and that staff at Boyertown will have Babb not doing any of those things that he did last time that enabled him to be cradle bait like he was. That's the thing about Palmer Delaney that's so dangerous. He's so lanky and he slaps that cradle on from anywhere, Glenn. I mean, it's coming like when you least expect it, you're in it. And so that's what he did to Babb last week. I have to imagine in the rematch that it'll be a more carefully wrestled match on Chance Babb's part. And I think if that's the case, he has an opportunity to win. And I'm going to go with Babb there, and then Kokersberger to beat Babb.
Well, I have a little bit different down here, but I do have Kokersberger and Grotzky going at it. I got Kokersberger winning and taking third place, so no change there. But the Babb Delaney match again, this is another one. This is one, a lot of people start to fall asleep in the consolation. You cannot fall asleep in the consolation semifinals. I mean, these guys are going to states that win that match, and I do have Delaney beating Babb. So that is one of the ones you want to circle in those consolation bouts. And I'm going to miss that match because I'm going to be over in the South Gym, and this will be over in the North Gym. But that's the only difference, Joe. So I'd like to see some of these matches play out in the consolation. I mean, I think the consolations this year are going to be really, really exciting on the wrestlebacks, especially in these conti semis. So It's a tough call because I did see Bab wrestle. I haven't seen Delaney wrestle this year, and it sounds like this is a really good matchup.
Yeah, it is. At least we know that Coach Begley will be, your friend this week and not mine with us with that pick.
Well, yeah, but
So
I forgot about that being a state qualifier. So Tony's probably going to give me the business if I see him if he's over at South.
most likely. So as we move on to 145 pounds, and this one has a highly anticipated final, in my opinion. And I think we're going to get it. I think we're going to get that Connor Eck and Sam McMonigle final. The guys have
Oh
been,
yeah,
since they both got to 145, they've been 1 and 2 ranked all year. Eck's only lost on the years to Kyle Hauserman. McMonigle's undefeated. Ultimately, as you can see there, we're not going to, we don't need to talk it out. I think McMonigle wins. He's a returning state medalist. I just think he's on. I think he's going to win this one. But Eck is physical, and he can go. He's Ben Salem. Ben Salem has. We're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about Pisarchuk. They got guys that can just flat out go. And they also had a bunch of freshmen this year that had nice seasons and didn't make it this far. But we haven't seen the last of them. Looking at some of the other quarterfinals, we got Patrick McCoy, who kind of. I think I've been kind of waiting for this out of him since his freshman year. I thought when him and DeFalco busted on the scene as freshmen, that they were going to be like a 1-2 punch. And I know McCoy battled some injuries throughout his career, but he's 19-3 and had some big wins last Saturday to take third in that North bracket. That was pretty tough, as we're going to talk about.
yeah. I mean, he upset Savardinov.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was an upset. I mean, I agree with you with McCoy. I have it the other way around here, but you're right about
Um,
McCoy. McCoy's dangerous in this weight class.
Yes. Morrow, return state qualifier, and Andrew Luke from Westchester East. I'm going with Morrow. And then Sadradinov and McMonigle. Obviously, I'm going with McMonigle. I also needed to make note of Ryder Garris, a freshman from Boyertown, 7-3 on the season up to this point. Just wrestled a great tournament last week and makes it to regionals. I forgot. I think he would see like the 7th seed maybe in his bracket, and found a way in. In fact, no, I take it back. He was the 8th seed because he got it. I believe he got in because Springford wrestler was injured. I believe Attilo was injured. I think that's how it worked out. I could be wrong. It's happened before, but I want to say that he was the 8th seed and made it through. So again, freshman from Boyertown, that program, just finding ways. They just sometimes just find ways to win. So
Yeah,
you said,
I
go
mean,
ahead.
let's talk about those Boyertown kids. I mean, Tony Haley takes over as the head coach. I think they had a really good season, in the dual meet season. I think if Boyertown had um, the normal schedule that they had with the tournaments, these kids would really be even at a higher level. So I'm interested to see what Tony does over the next couple of years. I mean, he's got a really nice squad kind of developing there. So these these Boyertown kids are dangerous anywhere you see them. Just like every year, Joe. Again, there you go. Anybody from the pack is dangerous. So I have it the same way. The only difference is I do have McCoy upsetting Wood, if you call that an upset. I just think McCoy is hot. I love a hot wrestler in the postseason. I think McCoy is hot. It's going to slow down on the bottom bracket when you slide down to the conchies, though.
Yep. And I got Garris and McCoy. I got McCoy beating Garris, Luke and Sadradinov winning. And here's where it gets a little interesting. Morrow beating McCoy, not that shocker of a pick, but I got Sadradinov beating Wood. Now let's keep in mind, Glenn, I'm taking Sadradinov here. Sadradinov didn't even qualify for regionals.
Exactly. He
You know,
slipped
he,
in because
he
I believe the Ben
Gavin.
Salem kid got.
No, it was Perk Valley. Gavin Pasco was
Perk Valley.
disqualified
I'm sorry. Yeah.
in his third place match with McCoy. And so he's out of the tournament. And the next highest seeded wrestler was Sadradinov. He gets in. I think he makes the most of it. And again, him and his brother, and they're crafty wrestlers. I think he's gonna make the most of this opportunity and punch that ticket to the super regional. Get
Yeah.
out.
Now it's funny because I have it flip flop because I have McCoy winning up top and I have Sajardinov kind of turning the tide again and coming back and getting some vengeance on McCoy and he beats him and gets into that third place bout against Morrow and I do have Morrow beating Shur Muhammad. So Yeah, there's a kid that sneaks in. I mean, I had assistant coach Kirk Holt from William Tennant. He was one of those guys that snuck into the tournament one year and got to state. So it happens a lot, and I really think that Sajidinov here takes full advantage, like you said, and gets the states.
Yeah, glad we agreed on that one, Glenn.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I just like I said, McCoy's a wild card here.
yeah, and yeah, I like the fact that he's finding his way and kind of becoming the wrestler he was destined to be. Again, he could definitely find himself getting out, but it's just tough weight class. There's no
Oh
easy
yeah,
way,
it's
no
loaded,
easy outs.
stacked
So,
weight class. These next two are stacked.
oh, this next one's gonna be it's gonna be fun. So we go to 52. We got return state medalist Zach Martin from the Sham. He's undefeated on the year. We got I believe Shane Kibler is a return state qualifier. DiAgostino been the states, I believe, and so is Chase Barlow. This and then you got you know phenomenal freshman Beck Ruse Sadradina from Council Rock South,
Oh,
18
you
and 1
said
on
it
the year.
right, Joe. You said it right.
Did I?
You did.
Yeah. All right. All right. So you can see how I'm going with this. I got Martin beating Barlow from Kennett. Needles, a guy I again he is he's a spring forward program guy, team guy. I've talked to some of his coaches, and they gush about the type of person he is, and the teammate he is. And I've always just seen it from the outside. I've seen it when he wrestled as a middle schooler, and I knew that he was going to do good things. And you're seeing it now at the high school level. I got to see him wrestle in the dual meet this year against Alan Alexander from PJP, and just finding ways to win. And I go back to watching him last weekend, and he's losing a match late to DiAgostino from Interborough, who's tough as nails, and we'll talk about him in a little bit. And just found a way to win. I think he was down like 3 or 4 in the third, and knee picked him right to his back and pinned him. And he just finds ways. He's always in a match, and he finds ways to put guys on their back, so he's never out of a match. He's got like a bag of tricks, and just like I said, I enjoy watching guys like him that just go for the full six wrestle. I think Sadrujinov beats D'Agostino. This freshman's on a mission. I saw him wrestle as an eighth grader, PJW state tournament. I've only seen him I haven't seen him in person wrestle yet this year, but his results are impressive. And Chase Barlow, he's just solid. He's just really solid. Stays in good position. Doesn't get overextended. Kept Needles at bay in that final down in the South last week. But I think ultimately Martin's going to be too much for him, and Martin wins the weight class. Glenn, take it away.
I have it the same way, Joe. Move on down to the next bracket.
All right. This is where we're going to get maybe
I
get
mean,
a
I
little
got to
intro.
mention. I mean, I do have to say something about Chase Barlow. I mean, Barlow's solid. This is going to be a tough final match for Martin. But Martin always seems to win the close matches, and he's done that for 4 straight years.
Yep.
So if he's ever in a tight match, he knows how to win them. So that's why I'm giving Martin the edge there. But Barlow's dangerous. I
Yeah.
like the Barlow kid. I can't wait to see him wrestle. I haven't seen him wrestle
Yeah.
this year. So
Yeah, for a 52 pounder, he's long. He's
yeah,
long, and so he presents matches like that. And I haven't seen Martin wrestle at all. And he was. I remember he was never the tallest guy when he was at like 38, and him and DeFalco would have those battles when they went back and forth. But let's talk about this consolation bracket. I got Kibler beating Barlow, Josh Barlow, not Chase, and D'Agostino beating Gallagher, which sets up a Needles D'Agostino rematch, and Kibler Sadrudinov. And I got Needles and Sadrudinov winning, and Needles ultimately taking third.
Joe,
With
this is a very easy consolation bracket for me. I totally agree with you. I have Sajidinov beating Kibler, and I have Needles beating D'Agostino. I mean, Zach Needles, he has improved every year. This is one of those guys that improved exponentially each year. I love Needles. I mean, the kid is in phenomenal shape. His body fat has to be like world class athlete, like 4% or below. I mean, he is just ripped. And he is a gamer. I mean, he's nasty. I love a kid that's nasty on the mat. And you know what? He's probably a really nice kid off the mat, but when he steps on the mat, it's a different animal. So I got Needles, um, going there, and but this freshman's tough.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. That could be one of the this could be a final match in any other year. Just to
Yeah.
let you know.
And to your point, Needles, from my experience with him, is just a great kid off the mat as well. But agreed, he gets on the mat and it's all business. So, all right, Glenn, we can head to 60 if you're
Yeah.
ready. All right. So this
I,
one,
I like that I can change my picks as I go, Joe. Nobody knows that I can do whatever I want down here.
exactly. I show my hand and you can react
Yeah,
accordingly.
yeah. When I'm down
So
here in the suburban one league, I can do whatever I want after I hear what the pack wants. But
exactly.
you know
So
what? Listen, I think this is probably the first year, Joe. We were talking about this off camera that we're really objective here this year. I mean, this is not a year where you can just go boom, 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 1, 2, 3, and try and make it easy. I mean, it's hard in the consolations. I mean, some of the upper brackets have been kind of easy to pick the finalists, but this is a year where a lot of parity throughout the southeastern region, and that tells me that wrestling's kind of really gaining traction here in District One. We may not have on a month. Oh, did I just say that, Joe? Yep, Mike, make sure you get that one out of there.
uh-oh,
We have a
not
lot of
safe for work.
we may not have a lot of medalists, this year on paper, looking at it right away. But I think that in terms of the regional competition, we're going to see a lot of good battles every time, and definitely in the consolations.
Yep. So everyone's had a chance to look at 160 here, and this is a two-horse race. And this two-horse race really, for me, ends up being one. This is kind of similar to 38 with DeFalco and
Yeah,
Hauserman. I think McGill's better than Collegesi, but Collegesi has a dimension. And I think, Glenn, you probably know where I'm going with this. Collegesi is tough as they come on top. If he can get to top and ride and possibly turn McGill, that's gonna be the turning point. No pun intended in this match. McGill's just, I think, better in the other two facets. He's better on his feet and he's better, from bottom. College is super tough on top, and if he can slow him down and get a turn, it changes things. But like I said, these two are the class of this weight class. McGill has just been a force to reckon with, and so is Collegesi, and I think they're on a collision course. But Bo Horvath, Joe's son, is super tough. He's physical and he's athletic. I think he could give Collegesi some fits, especially if he can't hold him down. So that's a match to watch if it happens. And Pisarchik, I know he defaulted last week. I'm not sure how injured he is. Watching him, kind of have his coming out party at regionals last year and putting his name on the map per se. He might present some problems for McGill because he can kind of lock up upper body and maybe slow McGill down on his feet a little bit. So, but that's how I see it going. Glenn, what do you think?
yeah, I have it the same way, Joe. I have the same semifinalists here, with McGill winning. Um, Horvath is definitely on the rise here. I mean, he's only a sophomore in an upper weight class like this, and I'm impressed with him. And I was last year when he was a freshman. And Pizarchek, I don't really know how hurt he is, but he is dangerous, but not against McGill. McGill will just out hustle you. He will out wrestle you. He will win every scramble. He loves a scramble, but he's also a very clean technician. So McGill's going to be pretty high up on the medal stand in Hershey, Joe. So I kind of agree with you. This is McGill's weight class to lose, and certainly Jesse may give him some fits in the finals, but I doubt it. I think McGill is just primed to go very. I mean, the kid's going for a state title. Let's be
Yeah,
honest. I mean, this is one of the weight classes where you look and you say this is McGill's weight class, and he's got bigger things on his mind. But he's got to take one match at a time, just like everybody else does.
yep. So let's take a look at these wrestlebacks here. We've got Lozano and Stein. I'm going with Lozano from Haverford. He's like he's a matchup nightmare because of his length and uses it to his advantage. I think he beats Mason Stein. Then English and Pekulski. Pekulski from the Chamonix. I think English wins. Got to see him wrestle for the first time last week and was impressed with what what he brings to the table. But then I think Pisarcik and Horvath win, and Pisarcik beats Horvath if Pisarcik's healthy. Pisarcik's 100% healthy, or being close to that. I think he beats Horvath in that third and fourth place match, and English beats Lozano for fifth place.
Yeah, I got a little different down here. This is like the Pizarcek question mark. I really don't know what's going on with him. So I have Lozano, beating him down there in that consolation semifinal up top, and I have Horvath beating English just like you do, and then I have Horvath beating Lozano. So that's really just based on I really don't know about Pizarcek's condition. So that could go either way, but I think Horvath gets the States this year, and that's a statement for him as a sophomore.
Yep.
And kind of carrying that Downingtown East flag for his dad, and I really think getting the States as a sophomore is a big accomplishment because it kind of sets up for a medal down the road, Joe.
Yep. And I think we'll know right from that quarterfinal round how hurt Pisarcik is if he is, because Bob English will give him everything he wants.
Oh yeah,
in that match.
Bobby English is tough.
All right, so let's go to 189. Or no, we're going 72. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. So we got our two champs are Jack Leto from Lower Merion and Matt Romanelli from Downingtown East. I think they're on a collision course. I think since Romanelli got to 72, I think Romanelli's been the guy. His lone loss on the year was to Co Bauman. Got taken down at the end of the match at 189 pounds, not 172. I just think Romanelli is the guy to beat here. If you were Glenn, if you were half Nelson on the forum, you'd be betting thousands of dollars that Jack Leto would win. I don't know if you are that.
Well, I did spend some time on the main line, Joe. So
You did? Okay.
My father lived in Narberth for a while and then in Ballackinwood. So I do have Leto getting to the finals just like you do. And I have Romanelli winning. So, Romanelli's been the man, like you said, when he dropped, I just felt that he's just kind of, he's tough to beat. He's tough to score on. When you're tough to score on at this weight class is wide open, by the way. I think I could do pretty well in this weight class if I can make the weight. And I'm only about 6 pounds away right now. So, but there's certainly some tough wrestlers. I have Coke, beating Desmond Perry. I haven't seen Perry wrestle this year. Again, it's kind of tough to really gauge some of these guys. I haven't seen the Garnet kids, but I do have Coke winning that match just because I got to see him this past weekend. But Wollaston's tough too. I mean, Wollaston's a tough out. This is one of those weight classes to me that it kind of is a toss up. But at least we have the finalists correct here, Joe, and the winner. So let's drop down and see what we got.
All right, let's head down.
By the way, when you used to do this by yourself, you used to kill me because I always wanted to see what you had down low first. Because that kind of can, like, if you go down low and you're like, wait a minute, this could happen different. So it's again this consolation stuff. These third and fourth place bouts this year are or getting into the third place bout for me this year is great. I mean, I think there's just tremendous wrestling going on in these consolation semis.
So, Merrick Seaman, I saw him wrestle for the first time over the weekend, and I think he beats Owen Cook from Phoenixville, Darrell Barrett and Nick Castorina. I think Barrett wins. Barrett surprised me as well. Desmond Perry, though, he's been tough. He's been like the model of consistency, and he hasn't gotten or changed levels to where he gets out of the regional tournament. I think this is the year he does. I think Wollaston as well, and I think Wollaston beats Perry. But I think I need you took over before up top. I think Leto, going back to that, I think Leto and Romanelli, like I said, Romanelli wins. Leto was definitely made a statement last week, pinning Wollaston in the first period, and that should be noted. So I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park for Romanelli because Leto has proven he can pin. But I think that when it comes down to it, I think Romanelli is going to have I think Coach Horvath and Downingtown East program Coach Cummings will have a good game plan to if that match does happen for Romanelli to win. I think Wollaston, like I said, takes third, and Seaman takes fifth. So, Glenn, how do you have the wrestleback?
Well, I have the problem there with Cook and down below. I have Castarini and him going at it down below, but I do have Woolashin taking third. So, again, this is one of those weight classes down below. There some crazy things can happen, but again, this Castarini is dangerous from Abington, but he just doesn't have enough bout experience. I mean, this
Yeah.
year, I mean, and that's kind of this is one of those years where I really feel terrible. More for the kids that didn't wrestle, the kids from Happy Horsham, William Tennant, some of the Double A, Bristol. It's been tough for Cheltenham. These kids, they didn't get an opportunity. But here's Casarini. He's got a chance. But I just don't think he has enough, match experience this year to get through. But the Wollaston's been good all year. So I agree with you there. I can't. Sometimes I get lost in these consolations. This is one of them, but I do agree with the 1, 2, 3 here.
All right, let's turn the page. Let's go to 89 now. And again, here's a weight class for the guy. We got one guy, and then we have 7 others fighting for the other 3 spots. So I think we all know where we're going with this one. I think our champ's the pick for champ is gonna be the same. I got Euchre winning the first round over Federico, who just hasn't looked the same as he did last year. He's struggling to probably find that groove he had last year. And again, due in part probably because he hasn't wrestled a lot of matches. We're talking regional tournament. He's got 14 matches. I think it's a byproduct. I think he's a guy that needs a volume of matches to get into the groove, and he's just not there. But maybe he hits his groove this week, and he's dangerous in that coming out of that South 4 spot. I think DiTrolio beats Bainbridge. DiTrolio, he wasn't. It was early in the match with Bauman last week from Henderson, but Bauman got a little in too far, and DiTrolio launched him, pinned him, and that's what set this bracket the way it was. Bauman's been my number 2 behind Milano all year. I still think he is the second best kid in this weight class, but just the way this bracket fell, and you make one mistake in a match, and it costs you the win, and then you end up in the same half of the bracket with the guy who's hands down the best wrestler in the bracket. So it's the way it falls for him. I think Bauman beats Cirilli from Rock South, and then Milano beats Sibler. Milano beats Bauman, and DiTrolio beats Euchre, and then Milano is, like you said, he's just on another level. The guys that going out thinking they're just going to try and throw a headlock and say a prayer and hope they win, hope they catch them. He doesn't even give you a chance to even do that. He's on your legs like instantly. You have no time to react, no time to even try and set something up, because he's already on your legs looking to and he's already got his 2 by the time you realize what happened. So Milano's just wrestling, just lights out.
Yeah, I have this bracket the same way up top, Joe. Really no surprise. Um, the biggest thing here, like you said, with Bowman, I mean, he probably is the second best guy in this weight class. Joey Milano is on a mission, and I've been saying this I say it every year. I mean, this guy wants to rip your head off, he wants to tech fall you, he doesn't want to pin you, he wants to destroy you, and he is just at 189 pounds, he's scary. So it is his weight class. I think he wants to get to the state final and win a state title, and that's his mission. So clearly, this is one of the weight classes. I mean, for me, pound for pound, he's the toughest wrestler in all District 1. So, you know, get down to this consolation. I got to see what you got, Joe. I might need to change some picks here.
I got Federico and Bainbridge. I got Federico winning. Cirilli and Silver. Some Council of Rock on Council Rock North on Rock South crime going on there. I got Rock South coming out. Cirilli beating Silver. I got Euchre beating Cirilli. I got Bauman beating Federico, and I got Bauman beating Euchre for 3rd place. Like I said, Bauman's the second best kid in this weight class, in my opinion, and it just so happens he's going to finish 3rd today. And then I got Federico beating Cirilli for 5th.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the 5th place bout. Sorry, I haven't done that all night, but I know that is a medal. But anyway, I have it the same way with the finals here in the consolations, and I have Bowman winning. The difference here is Federico. I have Bainbridge getting a win here from Plymouth White Marsh. I think the Plymouth White Marsh kids have really worked hard this year and had a good season, and I think that Brainbridge gets that match. But Bowman's, the second best guy in this weight class, and he takes third place over Euchre.
All right, so here are, 215. We'll talk about it,
Oh, it's a
heavyweight's gonna be a barn burner between you and I. We're gonna butt
I
heads.
know it. You know what? This 215-pound weight class, I don't know if anybody pays attention, but 215 pounds for District 1 lately has been a pretty good weight class
Yeah,
over the last several years. I mean, so for me, I love looking at this weight class because I've this Suburban 1 league alone, with these guys in this weight class has been crazy. And in the one division, the Central Bucks kids have battled back and
and
forth.
and Glenn, exactly. I'm gonna piggyback that. The way they have battled back and forth, and it's been like one beats one and the other beats the, they just beat each other up. Like
Oh,
it's no one has an upper hand where you can say like you even win
no.
two matches against the other. Like it's back and forth. Like
No,
it's
last weekend, Joe, was the most unusual match I've ever seen. It was just a wild match between Collins and DeGiorgio. So, we got some studs here. I mean, I think we have
yep.
some state medals, in this weight class. Obviously
So
with Kaka.
So I'm going to say Collins beats Thomas, and Thomas returned a regional qualifier. He's no slouch from Interborough, and those Interborough kids can go. Doyle and Allred, like Allred kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, he's 11-1. He's a sophomore. I mean, that's the other thing, too. We look here. Collins is a junior. Doyle is a junior. Allred's a sophomore. DeGiorgio's going to be back. Pardo's a freshman. I haven't gotten to talk about Pardo yet. And then you have two seniors at the bottom. Like, you're talking, what, five of the eight are underclassmen and one's a freshman of that. So I think Collins wins. The Allred Doyle, I think, is going to be a great match. I'm going to go with Allred. He looked really good last week in the South tournament. Ultimately losing to Collins. I think DiGiorgio beats Pardo, but Glenn, this Pardo kid from Kennett can flat out go. He was wrestling Kaka last week, and it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was a close match, but the kid was fearless. Like he went at Kaka. I mean, Kaka was obviously was the better wrestler, and it showed. But Pardo did not back down. Did not care that Kaka was returning state medalist. Did not care. He's ranked number one in the state. He's went out and went at him for the entire time he was out there, and just kind of came off the mat, like shrugged his shoulders, like, okay, cool. Like I went at it, like I shot my shot, like it didn't work out, and just kept coming and ends up finishing third in a tough weight class.
Yeah, well,
Um,
I'm glad I'm gonna be in the gym for that one because DeGiorgio loves to scramble. He loves to scramble. So if
yep.
you're coming after him, he's ready to go too. So
So
I'm gonna
ultimately,
keep my eye on that one.
yeah, definitely. I did go to Giorgio here, just because it's a guy that's been around. I think the experience that he brings to this particular matchup is going to be just enough to get him by Pardo. But I said this kid's a future star in District 1 in the upper weights, and I stand by that now. I'm really excited to see what he grows into. Big frame, just a big kid for a freshman. And I got Kaka beating Muller, got Kaka beating Giorgio, and then Kaka beating Collins. So
Yeah, I got the same way. I do have Doyle taken out all red. I just think Lucas Doyle has wins on both these guys, I believe, this year. I mean, they've been back and forth with Collins and DeGiorgio, and Doyle's right there. So, I mean,
yeah,
I got Doyle as a wild card right here in this weight class. I mean, he's dangerous. I mean, he
yep,
could beat Collins and upset Collins up top. So I do have Collins beating Doyle, but do not count out any Council Rock South kid in this tournament. I'm going to be
never,
honest with you.
never. And I only was Allred and him was flipping a coin, and I just went with Allred because I had eyes on him last week, and I was impressed with what his tournament getting to the finals. Let's look at this wrestleback. So we got Thomas and Doyle. I got Doyle winning. Pardo and Muller. I got Pardo beating the senior. And then here's where it gets, I got Doyle, Giorgio, another matchup where they each have wins over each other. I'm going Giorgio, and I'm going Pardo over Allred. They didn't wrestle last week because Pardo was in the same half with Kaka, and Allred beat Thomas from Interborough in the other semifinal match. So I'm going Pardo over Allred and DeGiorgio over Pardo for the second time of the day.
Yeah, clearly I'm flip flopped here, Joe. I have DeGiorgio and Doyle separated. So I have DeGiorgio and Doyle in that consolation final. Um, and I have DeGiorgio beating Doyle. And I just really think that the three kids from the Suburban One League that have battled each other all year long are going to get the states here along with Kaka. I don't see anybody else touching those kids. So that's just my homerism coming out here up at 215. But I'll tell you what, Joe, I agree with you with Pardo and these younger kids, the kids that are juniors. I mean, we got some state medals coming here, 215 and 285 probably next year with this youth. I mean, I hate to say juniors are young, but when you're a heavyweight, 215, and you're making your way to states as a junior, you're expected to medal the next year. So I really like I like this whole group. I really do.
So before we turn the page, I think I need to just tell everyone to take a deep breath when we get to heavyweight, and just listen to my, I guess, my justification for what's about to be on the screen. Um, and just hear me out before you decide to blast me, and then hopefully the picks go the way that I anticipate. But anyway, without further ado, here are our last weight class of the night here, Glenn. We got our two champs, Max Herrar and Julian LaVenture, Upper Darby and Council Rock North, respectively. First of all, we talk about dancing bears a lot when we watch heavyweights wrestle. I don't know that we really have any that kind of dance around. We got guys that can wrestle, guys that put points up. So I got Herrar beating Mahoney. I got McHale beating Allen. I got Miller beating Farbaugh, and I got LaVenture beating Redder. Here's where it kind of goes sideways for some people. The guys that are probably 1 and 2 or 1 and 3 in the LaVenture I think is the second best guy in the right now tonight, Thursday, to February 25th. I think LaVenture is the second best guy in the region right now. I think he gets to the finals. I think from my notes, I don't have them here in front of me, unfortunately. I think McHale's 2-0 against Max Herrar. Anyone that's ever watched Matt McHale wrestle, he's an undersized heavyweight. I think he weighs about 215 pounds. And little guy, blonde mullet, run around the gym, and he can flat out just scrap. And he's the type of guy just wrestles big guys well. And he's frustrating, he's athletic, and he just gives fits to these bigger guys. Now, he doesn't always make it look pretty, but it's effective. And I think he's 2-0 against Herrar. I'm going to call that he beats Herrar 3 times in a row and puts himself in the regional final. And I'm going to say Julian LaVenture, and that high double he has he's gonna get to Miller's legs, and he's going to be able to take him down. And he beats Miller, and LaVenture beats McHale for the regional title in a rematch from the South last week. It's just a hunch I have. I ran matchups, common opponents, and I'm going with my gut. Like you said, it was my initial feeling, and I'm not wavering from it. This is just the way I think it falls. I'm open to any and all criticism, especially if it doesn't happen this way after the fact. But if you're going to criticize me about it, it's easy to criticize me after the fact. Criticize me before it happens and tell me I'm wrong. Glenn's going to tell me I'm wrong here in a second,
Oh
and when
yeah,
I
if
turn over to him,
I mean,
he's waiting. He knew this was coming, so he's waiting to get after me.
so yeah, listen, if we were live and getting some feedback on the spot, Joe, you'd be getting bombarded right now. I would probably send some Council Rock guys up to take care of you. But anyway, um, no, listen, I totally agree with you with this bracket, these semifinal bouts. It's pretty simple with Herrar, McHale, Miller, and LaVenture. Here's my spin on it. Herrar has been able to vindicate himself in the recent past, winning bouts that he lost previously. So he has been able to come back and beat kids that have beat him. I think he is peaking at the right time. He is undefeated, and the third time is a charm against McHale. I have him winning. Not only that semifinal, but I have him winning the weight class over LaVenture. So this is one of those weight classes at 285 pounds where you kind of just pencil everybody in, like you're saying, and you're not doing that here. So this is a weight class that can surprise. So I don't think you're crazy. I think you just lost the entire Council Rock North squad, for backing you later down the road. But I'll back you up when they come up to you. So now listen, with the heavyweight, you can listen. One throw, Joe, changes about, and Mikhail is capable of that throw, and I've seen him. He's nasty. He goes for 6 minutes. Um, and I've seen him right in front of me when we were doing the district duels last year. So he can go. So there would be no surprises here with any of these guys winning this. All 40s. I mean, don't count Miller out. I mean, Miller went to states last year. I mean, he has not peaked this year yet.
Yeah, Miller was a match away from medaling last year.
Yeah, I don't think Miller has peaked this postseason. So he's very dangerous. I mean, you could very well see a Miller Harar or a Miller McHale final, and Miller could win. So I don't think you're crazy here.
And again, I wouldn't be doing justice if I didn't say LaVenture could lose first round of Redder. Redder's got to win over Miller. Like Redder's dangerous. Like
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Redder's the heavyweight
all,
that sat in the background last year.
all bets are off at
Yeah,
heavyweights at regionals. And I mean, you look, you got Harar with state experience. Manny Allen's a regional qualifier. McHale's a regional qualifier. Miller's a state one match away from medaling. LaVenture was a state qualifier last year. So you got guys. I think Redder was regional qualifier last year. You got guys a lot of experience here. So let's get to these wrestlebacks and see what's going here. I got Allen beating Mahoney in that first round of wrestlebacks, and I got Redder beating Faribaugh. And then I have Harar and Miller dropping down for losing the semis and winning. And I got Miller getting revenge from last week and beating him for third place. And so we have LaVenture as a champ, Mikhail runner-up, Miller third, and Max Harar fourth place.
yeah, I see it a little bit differently, obviously up top, but I do have Miller and Allen going at it in that consolation semifinal, but I do have Miller coming through just like you do. Down below, it's obviously a little different. I have McHale coming down against Redder, and I actually have Redder beating McHale. With Redder in the wrestlebacks, I think he gained some steam. I mean, the kid's got a lot of matches under his belt. So I do have Redder getting through. And then I have Redder beating Miller. So, this again, you can turn this thing upside down any way you want. But Joe, I'm going to tell you this: like, if you could predict, weight classes, this would be the first one I would stay away from. I wouldn't want to wager any money, and people know I like to gamble a little bit, and I would not bet on this weight class at all.
All right, Glenn. So we're going to wrap it up here. And I'm going to give you first shot to give me your top 3 teams in the regional race.
Oh, you're killing me.
I'll go first if you want.
Nah, I'll go first.
Okay.
So, yeah, this for me is going to come down to numbers. I really like Council Rock South. I think they have enough numbers. I think they're going to get a champ or two, but they're going to get some state medalists like they always, or excuse me, state qualifiers like they always do to the sub region. So I like Council Rock South here to win the team title. I think Springford's going to be right there, number 2, and really number 3 for me is really difficult. I mean, this is the first time in a long time I've really struggled with that. I might have to go with Westchester Henderson just because I think they have a couple of a finalist and a champion. So that's my order. And again, that's not my order for the duels. I have Quakertown in that 3 spot, but I just think Quakertown may have a tougher go than it's mapped out. We kind of made it pretty easy for them. So you could insert Quakertown in there in the 3rd spot for me as well.
Wow. I didn't think you'd go that way. I think I let you go first so that I had a chance to change based upon.
Oh, there you go.
That's my strategy. But I think it's a 2-team race. I think it's Rock South and Springford. When it comes down to it, I think right nipping at their heels is going to be Quakertown. They're going to be right in the conversation all the way up through Saturday afternoon. Just because numbers, and you think about Ziegler, Borzio, McGann, DeFalco, McCoy, like they're going to get guys.
Yeah, they can grab some, and the heavyweight.
Yeah, and they're going to get bonus points at that. But then I think about like Rock South. You said numbers. You got the Sadrdinovs. You got Kinney. You have Kolajezi. They're all going to score wins at some point, and they're going to score bonus points. But Springford's the wild card because they could have Ortlip in the final. They're going to have McGill in the final. They're going to have Milano in the final. They might have Needles in the final. But you start to think about the matches they're going to win. Now, I'm not going to say Neil's going to win too many matches by bonus points. I think he's going to have to grind out a lot of wins. But with that said, and Cole Smith. He can't. He could be in the final. They could have 4 finalists. Yeah, I don't think it's out of the realm possible. They're gonna have 4 finalists. I think. That's a very strong possibility. 4 finalists and maybe 3 champs. That's a recipe for a regional title right there.
Sure is. When you get champs, if you have 4 finals and get 3 champs, Joe, that's a pretty good sign.
Yeah. So, all right, Glenn.
What about your third? What about your third place team? You said top 3. Don't try and sneak away.
Nah,
Do not
come
make.
on,
You got to make a
Glenn.
decision here on the SOL and the Chessmon right now.
Come on, Glenn. I'm not hiding like those guys on the forum behind fake names. Come on. And you all know who I'm talking about. So, anyway, the team probably Quakertown. I got Rock South, Springford 1-2, Quakertown nipping at their heels, and like not to agree with you, but I think right there in that third place conversation is going to be Henderson as well. And those are the 4 teams that are going to represent us in district duels too. And this year, it's just the way it falls. I think there's going to be those are the 4 teams just based upon the number of guys they have there.
Yep.
I'm not going to about to sit here and give you a comprehensive top 10 in the region just because.
No, we can't do it.
I'd be here all night.
It's been I can't believe we did it in an hour and a half. I think we're a little under an hour and a half because I think we kind of started a little bit late. But yeah, this has been awesome, Joe. I really I think everyone's getting used to the Zoom, the Google Teams, the whatever you're doing out there. With keeping in touch with the video, and I hope to see you guys out there. I'm glad I'm going to see some of the coaches and the wrestlers on Saturday, and hopefully be able to feel like it's a kind of a normal circumstance, event here at a regional tournament. But I have a feeling it's not going to be that simple. But we'll get it done. And we'll be on to that sub region, Joe. And Mike, you're behind the scenes. Make sure you edit everything correctly and get that cleaned up at that one weight class where I had a little slip up. First time in a long time, Joe.
Yeah, it happens. So, hey, as always, thanks for tuning in, everyone. We appreciate the support. And Glenn, thanks for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. I look forward to next week doing it for the sub-regional, or not the sub-regional. I'm copying off you. The super regional, sub-regional doesn't sound nearly as cool as the super regional. So we'll break down the super regional. We have to expand our realm into District 11, District 2, and District 12. So it's going to be a little bit tougher picking those brackets. But I have to say this: the one thing about the postseason this year that has been made, I think, my life a little easier is these 8-man brackets are really a lot easier to go than the 12, the 16, and 20-man brackets.
Yeah, I think you took a lot of heat when the 8's a little easier.
It is. Well, it's not easier. There's less chance to be wrong. That's what it is. That's what it is. It comes down to. Yeah. So, but again, as always, thank you for all the support and all the the messages of that are positive and even the negative ones. We're always trying to be better. Glenn,
good night, everyone.
Yep. Good night. Have a great one. We'll see you all some point in time.
All right, Mike, cut it. Mike, cut it.